Essentially, this is just a video of me failing in life. Hello beautiful souls, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. Today is kind of part 2 of my Mood by Innocent Bones unboxing slash working with the cross stitch. So I'm laughing because I know how hard this is going to be. So let's just get started. Let's just dive straight in today. Okay, so I have followed the instructions with the help of my mum because I told you I'm useless at instructions, and basically put it together by popping the Aida, as it's called, through the hoop after you found the center point, and then you tighten it as much as you can because you need it to be really taut for when you're doing the stitches so that your stitches go in neatly and properly. It just basically don't have any sag. So I've tried to make that as tight as possible. I'm really nervous. So I wasn't really sure what to do with this piece of fabric, but it turns out that after you've finished, you sew them together and it's kind of the backing to hide all the stitches. So I'll put that to one side. And then we have our design. It's so complicated. I know I'm probably not even going to get like 3 of these stitches done without crying with laughter because I just find it so funny. So the first thing I think we have to do is get our needle, and it says we have to split the thread. So it's, oh, did I bring scissors? Yes, I did. It says we have to split the thread. So you need a piece as long as your arm. Let me just double check that. Hang on. Right. Cut the thread the length of your arm and then split it into 2 lots of 3 strands, and then make a knot at the end and thread it through. But like, where am I stitching this though? Is this for, this is for everything. Okay, it's cool, it's fine. I can totally do this. I've got this, don't worry. Where did I put the needle? Oh, there, okay. Right, so we're doing this, and obviously I'm going to start in the center, and it's called countered cross stitch, which I've not done before. I've only done cross stitch where you draw it onto the Aida, and I mean, part of me is super tempted to draw this, but then I'm really bad at drawing, so it's like, meh. So we'll have a go, and we'll just have a go. We'll just have a go. I mean, if it's terrible, I don't mind because it's just for me. I've got 2 months to make this, so let me just get my needle off. This is a nice needle actually. So we're starting with the centerpiece, which I think is this soft dusky rose pink. So let's just get that out. I honestly haven't done this in so long. Is that as long as my arm? That's longer than my arm. About there. No going back now. We've cut it. So I think essentially you're supposed to count. So if I'm doing the center one, it's 40 and 35, but then should I do that? Yeah, okay, we'll go 40 and 50. Okay, so split this in half. So those are 3. Don't knot. Yes! I'm a pro already. I'm not. Oh my god, I'm not. I actually just watched Grace's tutorials on her Instagram. I'm so grateful that she had a tutorial page. Yeah, I would have no clue. I put it on with the other backing fabric and then I was like, wait, no. Yeah, so let's just see how we do with this first stitch. And then I just thought it'd be nice to have a little chat today, just a little catch up, you know. I think sometimes my videos are quite serious or really focused on a serious topic maybe. I can't even thread the needle. So I just thought it'd be fun to have a chat and just see how everybody is. What's everybody up to? Are you guys still in lockdown at the moment? We have officially just come out of it here. If you're watching this in the future and it's still a lockdown, hi. Hope you're doing well. I'm struggling to thread a needle. Let me start at the other end. Pro tip there. Oh yes, you can do this. Come on. I've been watching loads of Brad Mondo, and I just noticed if he's struggling with something, he talks himself up in the most loving way. Oh, these are terrible scissors. That wasn't a good idea. You really need those really good embroidery scissors. Let's see if I can just get that. I've just realized I've cut sellotape with these scissors, so they're really sticky. This is going to end up being like a 20-minute video of me trying to thread a needle. Please go in. Why is this so hard? See, you can see why this is fantastic if you've got depression or anxiety, in the sense of you're so focused on what you're doing. Yes! Oh yeah, okay. I have done it. Yes, thank you. Round of applause. Oh god, I'm sure if anybody who actually cross stitches watches this, they'll be like, who is that absolute amateur? She is rubbish. Okay, so make a little knot. I always do 2 knots because I'm just a bit weird like that, and I like to do 2. Oh, I did it totally wrong. I can't even do a knot. Okay, that'll kind of, no, that's not met with that other knot. Oh golly, we're there. I've managed to make a knot. Wow, fantastic. Okay, so I'm supposed to count 40 to 45. I'm nervous about this bit. So technically is that 1, 2, 3, 20, 21, 42, 45, so that's 1. I did not count in 40 though. That probably would help. I need like another pin. Oh, wait. Got my funky pins. Let's get a pink one out. Yeah, so okay, let's just talk about life. I just recently watched the film, was it Away on Netflix? Let me just see. Did you guys see that? Wait, let me just check this row. Okay, I found my starting point. Just like, okay. Oh, by the way, to start, you want to pull your needle from the back and pull it through until you get to your... I put the knot in the wrong one. Hang on. Oh my god, this is like watching a child. I'm sure a child would be better actually. Let's do that again. So you pull it through, getting it the right way around. And when you pull it through, obviously it should stop. And then you go diagonally up to the next one. And I think I just need to do 1 stitch for this, like that. Yay! And then just go along to the next one. This doesn't look right. That seems very high up. But then I suppose I've got all that to do. Okay, I'm starting again for the 3rd or 4th time because each time I just did not like how far over to the left it was, and I'm sort of therefore totally doing the wrong count. If you're watching this, Grace, I'm really sorry. It just looked really far over to the left. So anyway, I was going to tell you about a film I recently watched, and I was like, that's really depressing. So instead, I thought we could talk about The Good Place, which if you guys haven't seen that on Netflix, it's so good. It's really funny, and it's really, I just think it's perfect for anybody who's spiritually minded, or at least open-minded to different religions or different experiences that you can have on Earth. Really open-minded to the afterlife, I guess. And so I watched this. Does she go back though? Wait, where's my instructions? La 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 la. Looking at the diagram, point 1 is where you start, and then point 2 is where you push it through. Continue this way until you reach the end of a row, then work back as shown. Up and over. Up and over. Anyway, so essentially, you're literally making a cross. So essentially, in The Good Place, it starts with a character named Eleanor who has just died, and she's reached the good place, and this guy called Michael is like, hey, I'm the architect of the good place, welcome, it's so good to have you here. And he kind of gives her an orientation, if you like, into the good place. I've just done my first stitch. That looks correct as well. We'll go with that. And so he shows her around, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. If you haven't, you need to watch it. It's so good. I think I'm going to leave 1 space for that, and we'll kind of go to, because I've got to do that, so I would want to go into that one. And so he shows her around and takes her to her house, and he's like, you love clowns, and here's your wall of art with clowns on it. Here's your soulmate. Everybody gets to connect with their soulmate, which when I watched that bit, I was like, oh, that would be so nice. He leaves and she's chatting to her soulmate, and she's like, dude, I should not be here. I was a really bad person and I'm in the good place. This doesn't make any sense. And he's like, well, I'm a really good person, so you're definitely meant to be here if I'm here, because I should 100% be in the good place. Looks like a little pig's nose. You can't see it, it's that small. Can you see it? So her soulmate is Chidi, and then there is, was such a tickly nose. And then there is Tahani and Jason, who I just love. I mean, I love all the characters, but I think Jason grew so much on me. By the end of it, I was like, what a guy. Okay, so I'm going 1 up. And it just follows their escapades as they're kind of recognizing that they are in the good place, or are they? I just think it's so funny, you know, and it really, it turns, I mean, can I tell you? I'm going to tell you that if you don't want to know, and if you're going to watch it, then you might want to like turn the sound off. I mean, still watch me in silence struggle with this, but wait a minute, do I need to go in that one? I think I need to go in that one. Just trying not to ruin my stitches. I think this is how I remember doing it. But basically they're not in the good place, they're in the bad place, and they're doing an experiment, and it turns out that Michael, the architect, is actually a demon, and he's a fire squid demon. Yeah, I remember that because I just literally watched the episode where he tells them he was doing an experiment to see, you know, if they could kind of fool people and torture them through fooling them, which is really horrible in so many ways, but then I'd expect that from a demon, right? Every single time that he tries to fool them, Eleanor works out that they're in the bad place. She's like, wait a minute, guys, this is the bad place. and it really annoys Michael and his team, and he gets in loads of trouble. Oh my god, please don't be a knot. Please, no. Please, please, please come undone, because I was doing really well. I don't even know how you undo this. It's fine, I resolved it. But every single time she works it out, and then they go on this huge adventure where they kind of are trying to prove that actually the bad place have been taking everybody who dies, and nobody has been going to the good place. Nobody's been going. And I love that they call it the good place and the bad place. There's no heaven or hell or anything like that. But it's just really funny, and it's really simple and easy to watch, I think, which is quite nice. And I used to watch it a bit before I went to work or before I went out to the gym or anything like that, because it would just be the easiest thing to just watch. And eventually they do end up in the good place because they prove that the bad place was manipulating things to get more people to torture, which is really funny. And they kind of outwit the director, I think they call her, or no, the judge. Maybe it's the judge. Oh my god, I can't remember. I haven't watched all the episodes recently. I watched it ages ago. But it's just really clever how they do it, and at the very end they realize that they've been in the actual good place for a while, and they say, do you know what, we've kind of had our fill, we've enjoyed what we've done, and now it's time for us to go to end things. And they end their soul life by stepping through a special door which takes them to not existing anymore, which sounds weird but it makes so much sense when you're watching it. And I just think it's really nice. I really like the kind of group dynamics, I really like the character arcs, and I really like the way they explain things. And I think if you're somebody who's just looking for something lighthearted and easy and enjoyable to watch, it's definitely the right thing. Actually, I thought they did a really good job of explaining things, because I feel like it doesn't focus on just one religion or belief system. And even though I'm a spiritual person watching it, I don't think you'd need to be spiritual. Like, they don't talk about really spiritual belief systems or anything like that, and it's got a good sense of humor. So I definitely think if you're looking for something simple and easy to watch. Well, I told my best friend about it, who lives in New Zealand. She just, for whatever reason, didn't watch it, and then recently she was like, I'm obsessed. I was like, yeah, I told you, it's great. Okay, we have a line. I know it's going to be blurry, but we have a line. I'm just making this up as I go along, so I need to repeat that and then come in one. I can totally do that. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Oh, I just undid my own stitch. That was stupid. So I guess I need to tie it off. I can already tell I haven't really tied this tightly enough because it's sagging really slightly as I'm doing this, which is not good. I was really hoping that you guys would see this finished, but I feel like I might have to do a couple of videos where I just chit chat to you and do this, because it's not that easy. So I really enjoyed watching that. And then I'm just starting to watch Travelers as well. Have you guys seen that? So that is with the guy from Will and Grace. I don't know his name, and I realized I could look that up and tell you, but quite frankly I am trying not to ruin this. Where is that hole? Yes, so it's with him and then a load of other actors that, again, I don't know from anything else. I'm sure they've been in loads of things, but I don't know them. It's really old as well, like I'm pretty sure it came out like 4 or 5 years ago, but I'm only just getting around to watching it because I saw it a little while ago on my Netflix, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'll watch that. But now I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm definitely ready for it. But it's really cool. I really like the idea of it. It's basically people coming back from the future to the past, and I love when they do a kind of time travel thing, because the question is this, right? If somebody is able to travel from the future to the past and the future is still happening, right, because it's just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people, it's not as if the whole world has time traveled backwards, then the future has to still be happening, and therefore the past is still happening. So it just proves that there's no such thing as linear time, because the past, present and future is happening all at the same time. These people come from, I think there's a team of 5 of them, they come from the future to the 21st century. They don't say when, they just always say to each other, welcome to the 21st. And the way that they enter is, instead of just like time traveling, you know, like the Terminator, they go back as themselves. Oh no, not in this show. In this show, they go back and they take over the body of somebody who's died. Now, technically, in spiritual terms, that would be a walk-in. And that can happen where somebody dies, or if a soul doesn't want to be incarnate in the body anymore, then they can elect to leave and another soul can take over, and that's called a walk-in. And I really wouldn't recommend playing with that because it's actually kind of dangerous. And also, you just really don't know what you're going to invite to take over you. So don't try it at home, kids. there. It's right there and I just can't seem to find it. There we go. So they each take over from somebody who's about to die, and luckily one of them is an FBI agent, which is so useful for later missions and things that they do, because he can just say, I'm with the FBI, and then people just leave him alone when they're doing dodgy things. It's not really dodgy actually, they're saving the world. But basically they say that an asteroid hits Earth, not only does it kill loads of people, but also it affects the crops, it creates a war, blah blah blah, loads of bad things happen. So they're there to stop the asteroid from hitting Earth, and they've designed this machine that's sending some kind of an antimatter gun or something like that into space to direct the asteroid in a different path. And to be fair, we don't get to find out if they have actually succeeded, because then loads of other stuff happens that is apart from that. But I really like the character arcs, and I really like the people that they've come back as well, because there's just a real sense of, I think I've missed a stitch there. They've given like normal everyday people an opportunity to be the focus, which is really cool. So even though one of them is an FBI agent, where am I going? There? You know, one of them is a mum, and she's in an abusive relationship, and she has to deal with that. And it's really interesting just seeing, you know, like she completely obviously changes because she's a different person. The only thing I think is really uncomfortable is, firstly, it's obviously very white, you know, let's face it, these things pretty much always are, which is not cool. I know Netflix try to stop being whitewashed in some senses, but not always are they successful. And not only that, but what I find really uncomfortable is the FBI agent who takes, or the guy who takes over the FBI agent's body, he's in a relationship with the woman who takes over the single mum's body. They kind of show an image of him and her in their future self bodies just for a few seconds, and they're both white, but then the present or past version that they've gone into, does that make sense? It's quite hard to explain, is as black. And I just felt like that was a bit uncomfortable. I thought it was really kind of off that they made a white person go into a black person's body. I don't know, it's just a bit weird. And there's something that didn't sit right for me. I was like, really? Why would you not just make her always a black woman? Like, I don't know, maybe they were trying to show that it was somebody totally different. I don't know, it just seemed inappropriate personally. I just watched that bit and I was like, what? She was white and she's in a black, how is that nice? I don't know, for the black community. Something about that didn't sit well. I'm nearly at the end of my second row. Are you impressed? Guys, I am making something. I'm showing you, but I don't know. Okay, you can just see my little line, which I think actually maybe I've left too much of a gap there. Then it does just look like one thing. I can always go over it if it's wrong. So now I'm just doing, which I guess I'm going to bring it in to about there. So let me just, so yeah, I'm really enjoying that so far. I really like how the characters are developing. I mean, it's obviously super far-fetched, some of the stuff, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But I would kind of expect that from a TV show where it's essentially people traveling into the past to save it from itself for the future. That is confusing. I'm just going to finish this row and then I think I might come back. This has probably not been very exciting for you guys, but I'm enjoying this. See, if you guys have this box, we can do it together. And I'll do it wrong and you can do it right, and it will be just a barrel of laughs. I've not even laughed that much because I'm concentrating so hard on not messing it up. So I'm just going to go back along the stitches I've just done, and then I'm going to pause there, and I think I will come back to you when I've done a little bit more, because otherwise you won't get to see the full progress, which would be a shame, because I think this is going to look really great. And look at me bigging myself up there. I think it's going to look really great. I've totally gone off the whole count thing and I'm just doing whatever I want to do to try and make that design. But I think it's going to be good. I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there, guys. Thank you for your patience. I'm nearly there. Oh, okay. With that. Let me just, is that right? Yeah, let me just sew it off at the back so that I feel like that's kind of the hardest bit, is catching the thread to sew it off. Okay, there we go. So let me just show you how far I've got, because it's not very far at all. So I have literally started, so I have just done that much, and I've basically done this bit. Yeah, just these 3 rows here, 4 rows here. I think I've done one of them wrong because I don't think I've got enough stitches here for the heart, but I could just make the sword thick, or I can come back over and do that again if I think I need to. But that's the start. I think we've done really well. thank you for being with me. I feel like you've helped me to start this. This is our project, guys. This is our project. So I'll come back to you when I've done a little bit more, maybe when I've finished a bit more of the heart and the swords, because I feel like otherwise we could be here for a while. We could. A good long while. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching me struggle and talk rubbish for for however long. I don't know, I've been filming for ages, so obviously, how long have I been filming for? Yeah, I've been filming for 45 minutes. It's taken me 45 minutes to do this. Are you guys impressed? Oh my god, okay, right. Okay, so here we have the finished item. I'm so excited that I finished it. I think it's taken me about 3 or 4 weeks, which I don't think it's too bad actually for my first time, and yes, there are some differences. Here is what it's supposed to look like. Here is what it does look like. It's definitely different. It was a lot harder than I thought. So I started off with the heart, as you guys remember, and it turns out that I had done that really quite wrong. I left too big a space here, and I'd done horizontal lines for this part of the sword, so I had to actually extend the heart and make it a bit bigger. And after I did that, I kind of lost confidence in doing a circle here, as it should have been here. So I ended up doing a square, and then I was going to do the correct rounded edges for the card, and I realized after I had done this line and sewn back and tied it off, I had done 1 or 2 too many. For some reason I just hadn't counted it right, so I had to make this into a square, which I didn't really want to, but it would have been really hard to unpick this because I'd done quite tight stitches, and I'd also tied it off twice, so that would have been really difficult. And then I filled in this top line here, and I did not count how much space I needed for this. So as you can see, I did not I did not get that at all. It's so funny because I think I probably could have fitted an E here, but then I was like, the craft T would be a bit weird. So I just left it as the craft. And yeah, I didn't realize, I did not count how many spaces you need for the letters. So you can just see the E. I had to just do like a weird stitch here to make it look like an E. And then the F, I definitely made a weird capital F. So that was really hard actually to write. Next time I'm going to count and count and count again, because I just did not. If I hadn't done this back line, I could have made the writing as big as I wanted. I should have done the writing and then done the framework around it, but I know that for next time. Whatever we do next time, I know. Count everything before you do anything. I mean, you can still see my little mark I did there and there for when I was counting to make sure I was getting the size of the edges right, but never mind. And then I did the roses, and to be honest, I think they look quite nice, and I didn't do as many as are on here because I honestly got to that stage where I was like, okay, I think I've kind of, you know, done enough details. If I do any more, I feel like I'm going to overdo it because it just doesn't look as neat as that one. Like that looks really balanced and really neat, but that one does not. And then when it came to the inside, I started off by doing this rose. I did this pretty much first actually, and then I did one up here, which I counted it wrong again, so it does not look like that. It looks weird. And I knew that I didn't really want to include the skulls. As I said to you guys, I just get creeped out by skulls, so I was just going to do the flowers, and also there's an eye there, which took me a really long time to work out that that was an eye. I thought it was a star. But anyway, when I tried to do it, it just wasn't working. So I was like, okay, ignore that. And then I thought, oh, it'd be fun to do a snake, you know, like it's snaking around. That would be really good. And yeah, as you can tell, that did not turn out. To do the head took me so much time, and I realized that this pink and this yellow you can't really see as a definition. I then did the shadow line around the edge of the snake to give it a bit more definition, and I thought it'd be fun to try the moon phases here. I got really inspired by this design here, and I thought to myself, hey, I can do a moon. I got a bit cocky. I was like, I can definitely do that. After I'd done these flowers, I was like, well, I can do this, and I did it. And obviously it's not perfect, but I think it's kind of okay-ish. I mean, you get the idea, right, that it's the moon phases. And I just had a little bit of fun with the top bit here. I mean, there's nothing on the design here, but I really liked these flowers, and I just wanted to kind of challenge myself, which is ironic because I struggled. And then I was like, oh, you know, I can do this. And I did the little kind of tiny spots. I didn't do these larger ones, which I'll probably try another time. I mean, I wanted to put something here and I wanted to put something here, but it just got to that stage where I was like, I'm going to over fuss it and do too much. So I ended up finishing, this was the last thing I did, filling all of this pink in, and I ended up running out of the pink literally for 1.5 lines up here. And of course, that's because I hadn't put as much detail in here as is in here, of course, so you know, didn't need as much pink thread. So I did buy some more, and I also got some cute rose gold scissors as well, because I was just using regular scissors and they were just not cutting it. Literally, when it came to me trying to thread through the needle, it was just really hard to do, so I got those as well. So I finished it, I got the extra thread and I finished it. I also got another design, which I'll share with you guys in another video. And I'll just show you my back, which is really awful. So yes, this is easier than it looks to do, but I'd left too thick a space. Next time I'll make sure I cut it a bit closer to the actual design, but that's okay. Like, I've sewn it off enough that you get the idea, right? It looks like it should. So yeah, it's not what it should be. But I've kind of run with it and just let it become its own creation, I guess, because it was much harder than I thought, but it was so much fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was watching Orange is the New Black whilst I was doing it some lunchtimes, so it was quite nice to be focusing on that. And also when I was having some migraines and things, it was really nice actually to do this when I was coming out of them and I wasn't, you know, feeling too sick or too blinded by light. It was quite nice to focus on something that wasn't a screen, so I really definitely enjoyed that part of it. So let me know what you guys think. I think it looks quite cute here. I might keep it here for a while, and then I can always move it once I've kind of finished tidying up and decorating the office, but I quite like the colours and I think it looks quite cute. What do you guys think? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-ba-ba.